I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's News Update. In our Election 2012 report today, the Democratic National Convention Committee and Obama for America announced Tuesday that former President Jimmy Carter will address the 2012 Democratic National Convention by video this September. The participation of Carter, who is viewed by many in the Jewish community as being anti-Israel, has brought strong criticism from several Jewish groups. The CEO and president of the National Jewish Democratic Council, David Harris, said Carter has embarrassed himself in regard to Israel and the Middle East, and that his comments have been harmful to the peace process. Harris said of Carter, "I'm confident that he won't be speaking to the party about Middle East policy. That task is best left to today's party leaders," including one of the most pro-Israel presidents in U.S. history, President Obama. National Director of the Anti-Defamation League, Abe Foxman, also criticized Carter's participation, saying the former president's biased obsession with Israel borders on anti-Semitism. Matt Brooks, executive director of the Republican Jewish Coalition, told the Washington Post's Jennifer Rubin that the fact that the DNC would offer a primetime speaking slot to Jimmy Carter highlights just how out of touch and tone-deaf they are. Further saying giving a platform to someone who has been openly hostile to Israel and equated the country to the South African apartheid regime is offensive. In its press release on the Carter address, DNC Chair Antonio Villaraigosa says President Carter is one of the greatest humanitarian leaders of our time and a champion of democracy across the globe. The Jerusalem Post reports that Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has said that Israel's Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman is, quote, killing the peace process. Abbas's remarks came after Lieberman said Abbas was responsible in the failure of peace talks. Abbas spokesman Nabil Abu Radane was cited by official PA news agency Wafa as saying Lieberman's statements reveal a mentality interested in killing the peace process and fueling conflict and wars. Lieberman had said Tuesday that there will be neither diplomatic progress nor an accord with the Palestinians as long as PA President Abbas remains in power, and slammed the PA president for a letter he sent to the European Union last month, urging it to reconsider its relations with Israel. Abbas's spokesman also said the only choice the PA has is to take the issue of statehood to the UN General Assembly. The Interfaith Coalition on Mosques, or ICOM, Monday called for a comprehensive investigation of a suspicious fire that destroyed a mosque in Joplin, Missouri, falling during the holy month of Ramadan. The Islamic Society of Joplin Mosque was previously a target of arson in July. The recent fire came just one day after a deadly shooting attack on a Sikh house of worship in Wisconsin. ICOM coordinator Rabbi Eric Greenberg said the destruction of the Joplin Mosque and the cold-blooded murder of American Sikhs at their house of worship should be a wake-up call for all Americans, further saying if the religious freedom of any American is under threat, then everyone's religious liberty is at risk. The ICOM was formed in 2010 and is sponsored by the Anti-Defamation League to assist Muslim communities confronting biased opposition to the legal building, expansion, or relocation of their mosques. B'nai B'rith International Executive Vice President Daniel Mariashan told college students at the Israel Amplified Conference in Phoenix, Arizona, that their vigilance in fighting anti-Semitism and anti-Israel bias is more vital now than ever. Mariashan was addressing fraternity and sorority students from around the country on the dangers of the boycott, divest, and sanctions movement against Israel, saying it has gained a foothold on college campuses and a strong front is needed to counter it. Mariashan warned that the demonization and delegitimization of Israel undermines the Jewish state's standing in world forums such as the United Nations. He also said that B'nai B'rith is committed to providing guidance and positive programs to counter ignorance about the Jewish state and Judaism. Israel Amplified's goal is, quote, ensuring Israel's future by engaging Greek leaders on campus today. Israel Amplified is a program of the AEPI Foundation and receives support from several Jewish organizations, including the Jewish National Fund, the David Project, the Israel on Campus Coalition, and the Schusterman Foundation. And finally, the New York Post reports that Jewish American gymnast Aly Raisman expressed her support yesterday after winning a gold medal at the Olympics in London for the 11 Israeli athletes murdered at the Munich Games 40 years ago. Raisman said, "I can only imagine how painful it must be for the families and close personal friends of the victims." She said winning the gold for the floor exercise on the 40th anniversary of the Munich massacre made the moment all the more special. Raisman said, "If there had been a moment's silence, I would have supported it and respected it." And that's Shalom TV's news update. I'm Teisha Bader.